Welcome to Destruction Derby. It is often said, quite accurately, that Twisted Metal invented the car combat genre. Destruction Derby is totally vehicular combat, no question about it, and it came out like a month before Twisted Metal, so it's honestly more of a weird coincidence than anything else, but it's a very different take on vehicular combat. Think like Burnout style. And I guess a little bit of Carmageddon in there. Get to pick our difficulty. Lucky us. We can jump right to Destruction Derby. The run ends with a, forced Destruction Derby sequence. But that's what you really want to see. First, though, I want to show off all the levels. Perfect. After you enter your name, it boots you back out to the title screen, but it shows our current setup as being Wreck and Race with championship set up. It's a very weird user interface, I find. Video games of this era had a hard time telling players what was even going on. Time to buckle up and sit tight. Hurry up and wait. As we enter the speedway. Just the simplest possible level. We've got an announcer. Don't really know what he's saying most of the time. But we just got a super small track where we just run around in circles 12 times. Now this is a Destruction Derby, so we do get points for crashing up the other cars. There's a big risk to doing that, because our vehicles do have durability, you can see in the lower right. If we take too much damage, our engine will explode. You can die in this game, enemy vehicles can die in this game. That is why it is definitely car combat. And there are modes of the game where the only point is to crash into other cars. But there are no weapons. Hence the comparisons to Burnout and Carmageddon, where weapons were at best secondary, frequently not involved at all. Yeah, my first thought on seeing this level was Baby Park from Mario Kart. So that's pretty much what we got here. Starting to get close to critical damage at the nose of the vehicle. Thing is, when you die, you're not out of the race, because we're getting points for killing people and otherwise injuring them. So if we are to get completely wiped out, such that we cannot continue with the race, we'll still get our points, and we still might place if our points were high enough. Car's about finished. Obviously, the enemies are going to try and take advantage of that. That's because I have one of my two front panels about ready to blow. If one of them goes, your engine dies, and you are out of there. But I completed the race. The announcer was telling me that I had died, but I finished the race, so I'm in first. 28 points. or reflections. It's a reflection of us. Honestly, I love the character portraits in this game. Let's see who came in second. Not to oversell it, but it's the Doctor. He finished the race in 14th place, but scored a lot of points along the way. The Doctor is very sadistic. He's a bit of a Dr. Lecter. So he crashed everyone up real good, got a lot of points along the way. Barmy Army placed even worse, but did a lot of damage along the way. So you get the idea. What View League does. Oh, we can actually, like, see their, no bios. This might be their stats, like their character stats. Or something. I don't know what this information is. Frankly, none of this makes any sense to me. And none of it matters. On to the next race. This one is like a figure 8. This means that it intersects itself in the middle. This has potentially interesting interactions. Might be harder than usual to keep ourselves from exploding. I don't know how someone was already on the cross path so quickly. Oh, also there was a billboard for Lemmings 3D in that last level. Okay, I guess I'm going this way. Just not even allowed to turn around. And that cost me a lap in many, many places, but there's no rubber banding in this game because there can't be. Collision is 100% of the point, so we can still catch up and get into a reasonable place. And we can also come in 19th place and still score second, third, maybe even better. You're never really down and out until your engine explodes, which I'm going to say is close to inevitable. We're constantly getting T-boned this time. If our doors explode, we're still in the race. Our back bumper can explode. The only thing that can't explode is the two front, potentially destructible areas. By the way, this game was a technical marvel when it came out. Clearly, that was a very long time ago. But these were considered very, very, very good graphics in 1995. You might be surprised to hear. Closing in on third place. Beautiful. As my race points are in the gutter. It would probably be more fun to just try and ram everybody to death. And there is a lot of potential point gain in doing so. Maybe I'll try that on the next map. Oh, also if you die, enemies that died before you place lower than you do. So you're not necessarily going to be in last place, even if you die. Okay. I lost control because I lost one half of my vehicle. And that caused me to ram into the wall a bunch. And that caused me to die. Barmy's up a spot. Good for you, Barmy. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see who got second place. Because it scrolls through who placed where very, very slowly, and I don't have any patience. Also, it doesn't matter where you place, because it will always allow you to advance to the next level. which is nice of them. I appreciate when games do that. It's the only reason I got through Jet Moto. I suck at that game. I kind of like the soundtrack, but it's very cheesy. Very 1995. Well, I'm in first place. Now, the smart thing to do would be to not blow myself up. Just stay in first place. Not even try to lap the enemies, which I easily could. But if you lap them, you're going to be crashing into them way more often, and then you'll take more damage, and then you'll lose first place. The odds are very low that you would come in first place after you've blown up your engine. That would mean that every other vehicle had also blown up before you. I want to go slow, announcer. Going slow is a good thing. Slow and steady literally wins these races. Which is not what you want to say about a car combat game. One thing I've considered is just doing the whole race in reverse. Because the back bumper doesn't explode and kill you if it runs out of HP. But it is way harder to control, unsurprisingly. We can zoom in to first-person mode if we wanted to, which is another nice feature. I'd say, like, the main problem with this game is that it's way too easy to blow up your engine. Which is a punishment for performing acts of violence in a game that is built around performing acts of violence. Seems like a design flaw to me. I don't know if it was corrected in one of this game's many sequels. This ended up being a pretty successful franchise. There's Destruction Derby 2, Destruction Derby Raw, I think it's called. And then Arenas for the PS2. 4 whole games. It's no Twisted Metal, but it left a mark. Yeah, it feels like there should be a way to fix your car. As far as I know, there is not. Even like Carmageddon lets you fix your car. Oh, I was doing so well. Last lap at all. Then I got slammed into a wall. Hit repeatedly. Combo to death. Infinite freeze combo, I'll call it. So here's one of the more interesting characters, the Taxman, with a pentagram on his shoulder. Tax day's coming up, so we all know the feeling. The Undertaker. Honestly, could be more interesting, considering the name. Not getting any of the good ones. Really, the designs of their outfit are above average. They don't really seem to care about copyright infringement with the people they depict. Because Undertaker definitely has a more famous counterpart. Suicide Squad might have been established by 1995. I like that her, like, collar forms the letter U in the word squad. The Optician. Very intimidating. Right next to Suicide Squad and Undertaker. No wonder I'm beating you, Optician. despite how poorly I'm performing. Honestly, I kind of expect to blow myself up on every single race coming up. Considering that, I'm going to take one lap of this race and then intentionally try to blow everyone else up. Just focus on getting as many race points as possible. We'll show off with one lap, then we'll try to kill people. But this is very similar to the second map, except that it intersects twice. So there's 2 points where there is a 4-way intersection like this. Let's kill someone else. Oh, if only I could twist them. I was just starting to get good at twisting vehicles. Tragically, Twister hadn't even been invented as of the time of this game. There we go. That got me some extra points. Unfortunately, pushing cars into other cars seems to get the cars that get pushed the points, not you. I want those points. I did the thing. I'm the one causing these problems. Please acknowledge my problem-causing prowess. Apparently, Destruction Derby 2 is a fairly large departure from what we're seeing here. Okay, going for score does not seem to have worked out great for me. Suicide Squad's got me beat. Doc, once again. I was 4th place, but now I've been beaten by L Driver, whose team is apparently I'm an Idiot. Shape of an L on his forehead. There's the guy I would pick if I had a choice of characters, but no. I have to play as a reflection of myself as an astronaut. Army is fallen from grace. Pyromaniac's down here in the gutter with me. Passion Wagon, sure, why not? I'm doing poorly. Am I even in the top half of races at this point? Apparently not. Yep. Brunch Bunch got ahead of me. There, I'm 11th out of 20. As I blew up too soon. This time we'll actually compete a little bit, and then get violent. Start lashing out. I'm learning how to strategize in this game. It's a weird game, so I don't know what the plans are, what the best way to approach anything is. I do know they like to start you out at 4 out of 20. Oh, that was the Passion Wagon. I didn't know they had little screams when you really did horrible things to them. I approve of that. So Psygnosis published like 1 trillion games. The fact that they published this is basically meaningless, because they didn't develop it. Their involvement was basically just make it available for sale and profit from that sale. Little to no creative input. And the Lemmings 3D poster in the beginning. That is also not a game of theirs. That's one of their publishing games. It was developed by Rockstar, who went on to make Grand Theft Auto. Maybe this game inspired Grand Theft Auto. Uh-oh. Lost first place. And I'm about to lose my engine. I'll be honest, I have never completed most of these maps. 10 laps without blowing up your engine is a tall order. You have to go very slow. And minimize your contact with this guy. Is that Crunch Bunch? I know that's Passion Wagon. Never. Must kill Passion Wagon. Number 23 taunts me. We're sort of close to the end of the race. I probably won't come in last place, even if I do explode right now. But I exploded right now, so let's find out. Destruction Derby Raw might be better than this game. The third game in the series. I could believe that. This one's very rough. It's fun, though. I like crashing. I just wish there was a way to, like, crash and also win. I want those to be achievable goals at the same time. How did you come in first place and 20th place with only 20 points? That's weird. I'm a little confused to how this works. I know you get points for doing a full 360. It'll even pop up on screen. 360. Apparently that gives you the biggest reward if you pull that off. Controller unplugged again. It's getting more and more frequent, weirdly enough. We're back in action. On to the bowl. The bowl is not a race course, making it maybe the best course in this game. The bowl is a destruction derby. Let's roll. What a race, indeed, announcer. So this lasts until your engine explodes. That's the only way this ever ends. Sooner or later, that's going to happen. Probably pretty soon. I want to, like, tail whip people, but it's not really feasible. Game doesn't really do momentum in that way. Here's where I'm finally going to do my reverse strats. Look at that crowd. That's a beautiful crowd texture. I mean, series of sprites. I mean, clearly photorealistic people. Problem is, once I start going in reverse, I, like, automatically donut, even if I'm not touching a direction. Okay, now I can't turn at all. Both of my destructibles on the left and right side have been destroyed completely. So all I can do is go back and forth. Like, I can change my direction very, very, very slightly. Also, I probably should have noted sooner that all the vehicles control, like, sort of RC cars. They turn on a dime. There's basically no feeling of weight to any of them. I have a lot of points. That's probably a good thing. I'm about to explode. Anytime now. I do have a lot of points. Maybe it'll be enough. Head-on collision will kill me at this point. There we go. I finally lost enough HP. There were not many people still alive at the end of that. And L Driver got knocked out way before me. So I might have gone up in the ranks. Nope, Pyromaniac wins with 99 points. Holy crap. Nice work, Pyromaniac. It's legitimately impressive. Crunch Bunch with 80. The game only understands racing because vehicular combat hadn't officially been invented yet by Twisted Metal. So this is still technically a racing game, and the game wants to call it racing, but it's not racing. 70 points is where I ended up. And 4th place total for the season. Nope, 1st place total for the season. Nice work. Guy who wears a helmet. Only person in a destruction derby wearing a helmet. Possibly the only person to survive the season. Now, the destruction itself was pretty fun. So I'm inclined to do a derby of that. Let's see what you got for me. Fast forward through that. Drops us right into another battle. This one I'll try to end as quickly as possible because there is one little thing I want to show off before I wrap up Destruction Derby. At which point I will switch over to Wipeout. Because Wipeout is just a pure racing game. With some weaponry. It's another one that was very early. Very similar to another game I played as Twisted Monday bonus content. And another one that improved considerably over the course of many iterations. Love that hot air balloon. It's just constantly getting a free front row seat to the Derby. I got 8 points. That's gotta be last place. Nope. Nope, second. I was second to last place. Now I appear to be last place. The bouncer beat me. But Trash Man from Twisted Metal 4 showed up. Took first. Good for you. Next, race technically. It's the bowl again. But it should be slightly different. Let's see. Yeah, it's nighttime. A whole new world. Does make it a lot harder to see your opponents. And let's zoom in. It's like I'm the driver. It also makes it completely impossible to steer at all when you're going in reverse. Really, it makes it impossible to steer at all in general. Yep, that's close to unplayable. I'm gonna stop playing like that. It's kind of neat that they added a very mild shading filter. And called it a new level. This clearly is why it's a racing game first. That just happens to end with a big destruction derby, because this concept is very shallow. Even positive reviews at the time largely suggested, give this one a rental. This is a game you will enjoy for a couple of hours. I've enjoyed it for significantly less than 1 hour. Wouldn't want to spend too much more time than that. Second to last place for me. Yeesh. So that clearly is Destruction Derby. Let's take a look at a completely different game. Now for something completely different. It's a Wipeout with a capital E. And yeah, Pyromaniac is unstoppable. No one mess with Pyromaniac. You'll get burned. See, it's Psygnosis, so it counts. I believe this one is developed by Psygnosis, not just published. So it is actually significant that their involvement was a part of this game. They really basically made it from the ground up. Also way more techno. Headed your way. No humans. We don't need drivers anymore. I have no idea if there is a plot to this game. I assume there could be. Did not read the manual. But everyone is driving these big, folded credit cards with turbojet engines on them. Through a wall. It's got a capital E for some reason, and then, yeah, a apostrophe and a quotation mark at the end. It's like the out is ironic. But the wipe is deadly serious. Which could be misinterpreted. Seriously doubt my interpretation of that title is even 1% correct. I don't have anything to do with the options yet. Very simple game. We don't have access to the rapier class, which is too bad. Because the vehicles all look the same. They're pretty much all reskins, except for these ones at the very bottom have extra panels in the corners. Otherwise, they're just different colors. But they also have these symbols, the drivers themselves, like John Pekka, in the hardest to read font I've ever seen. He's a super monkey ball. And his teammate is, I guess, an Aztec god or something. That's the one I like. Ariel Tetsuo. And her teammate is a fox. Yep. Got a Power Fist, Adrian Tetsuo. Wait, does that mean this is the brother of Ariel Tetsuo? Why didn't they end up on the same team? There's a story for you. Family drama. Compelling. We got a phoenix and a British flag, a Union Jack, for some reason. That's a weird one. That is not the team I want to play as. Faisar. do want to play as Ariel Tetsuo. Now, the only reason I'm playing this during Twisted Monday is that this game does have weapons. Unlike Jet Moto, you can attack the other drivers, and it is a good idea. As far as I can tell in this first game, you cannot kill them, nor can you be killed. But apparently in later games in the series, you can kill your opponents and die. So those might be car combat games. This one I have to doubt is in any way a car combat. So they gave me some mines. Just threw them out. I do love the continued use of billboards. Who are they advertising to? I have no idea. Robots? Maybe robots need products too. Goods and services. These little, like, flashing panels give you weapons. But if someone grabs them first, they no longer pay out. Here's a weird effect. When you're going through a tunnel, and this counts as a tunnel, there's an echo effect to the music, but it's very badly performed. So it just sounds incredibly distorted and terrible. I keep getting the same weapons because every pickup pad gives you a random assortment of weapons. I've never landed a rocket. Try as I might. We do get a dark side ram attack. Touching anything slows you to a crawl. I believe the N64 version sort of smoothed out the walls such that you could touch them without losing all of your forward momentum. Still wasn't a good idea to touch them. You would still slow down quite a bit. But you wouldn't just stop outright. Brakes are performed in a way that is very similar to Jet Moto. Oh, I crashed into the danger sign. That's the danger. The hill itself provides no real threat. But yeah, brakes are left bumper, right bumper. So brakes sort of inherently have a slide to them. Unless you hit both bumpers at the same time. Then you'll just traditionally brake. I'm gonna save this rocket. And totally waste it because I've never landed a rocket in this game. The direction they fire is awkward. Surprisingly precise. However, there is also a homing rocket pickup. There it is. Speak of the devil. Homes right in. Hits the target. They don't die, obviously. They don't even, like, spin out like it's Mario Kart. They just stop briefly. And then they get back on their way. So explosions are not very violent in this game. In future games, they get much more deadly. Because the vehicles can actually die. I've been told there's even a Wipeout game in which the whole point, there's a mode where the only point is to kill all the enemies. The race itself is inconsequential. And that is full-on vehicular combat. Just irrefutably. But that's not this game. This is a racing game. Oh, I even wasted my homing missile. And unlike Destruction Derby, if I don't come in at least third place, I do not advance. This is not a weapon that is going to get me third place. That might. Use the boost to get through. I'm coming in third. Nice. Look at how excited Ariel Tetsuo is. Good God, that's a terrible face. The character portraits in this game are actually really good, but this victory pose is disturbing. Oh, Adrian beat me. Or Orion? I put a D in there, but apparently there's no D. Or what is that? Arida? Oh, this is the worst font I've ever seen. Let's see. It should advance me to the next course. I like how it has to have 3 perspectives of the course because they're all hilly and stuff, so just seeing the top down would be meaningless. You gotta see it in profile as well. I probably am not going to beat this one, because I did not practice it at all. And I barely beat the last one after practicing it several times. And I'm not too worried about it. This is about all that I wanted to show off. We'll get as far as we can before getting kicked out. Once I lose one course, Wipeout is over for now. Maybe I'll find the game that has the kill everybody mode. But it is very hard to, like, research this game. None of them are listed as vehicular combat in any official capacity. And there are a lot of games in the Wipeout series. This was dramatically more successful than Destruction Derby was. I think the most recent Wipeout was like 2015. So in theory, this series is still going. There are many, many, many entries in it. I didn't even try to count, because they stopped numbering them after the third one as well. Just for added confusion. Also, same music track. 2 courses in a row. That's not inspiring. It's a perfectly fine track, but it's techno. No one ever wants to hear the same techno song twice in a row. That's why most techno songs are 15 to 20 minutes long. Because they're one and done. I never really used the drifting thing. I always try to go for a full break. That's probably not a good strategy, I'm realizing. Basically, I'm not good at this game, and I wasn't good at Jet Moto either. I played through both Jet Motos. Jet Moto had very, very hard courses and hard controls. This game just has the hard controls. I almost hit that guy with a rocket. There. I've been hit by multiple rockets so far this run. So we know what it looks like firsthand. Drifting out of there. Drifting out of control, really. I've just been trading 6th and 7th place for quite a while with this one dude. Note that you start every race not even able to see your opponents because they get a gigantic head start. And the whole point is to catch up to them. Which is sort of like Road Rash for the Genesis. I seem to recall that's how it worked in Road Rash as well. You would start a mile behind everyone else. And then you would catch them and kill them. Road Rash is pretty much a car combat game. But it's not the cars doing the combat, it is the drivers on motorcycles beating the hell out of each other. so as to advance. So here's our failure portrait, which looks a lot better than our success portrait, ironically. I would have to replay this match and get in the top 3. I didn't even get close to the top 3 there. So I probably wouldn't pull it off even if I retried. That is Wipeout by Psygnosis. Nowhere near as car combat as Destruction Derby. Still amusing. A fun game. If I liked racing games, I would probably like this game. Nothing wrong with it, though. I really like the cute art style, and I wonder what this rapier class is all about. Is it a whole set of new vehicles? Like, would it be 8 new drivers with 8 new symbols and 16 character portraits between them? Dunno. Perhaps I'll never know. But I did love that comic book art style. Wish there was an easier way to see all of it. And the drawing for a championship race is far too suggestive. Maybe they should have ran that past the committee first. To see if anyone had any Rorschach test reactions to it. Like I'm having right now. I have heard the N64 version of this specific game was better. The Saturn version appears to be nearly identical, just a bit of a technical marvel because the Saturn was super hard to program for. So getting a direct PlayStation port to work seamlessly on a Saturn was a miracle. Good for them. But like I said, super hard to keep track of which game is which. Eventually there's like Wipeout 2064 or something. But that might be the Jet Moto game that was never released. There's a 4th Jet Moto that stopped using numbers as well. And then the Wipeout series just started using subtitles instead of sequels. It's a hobby to keep up with Wipeout. But it is ongoing. There may be a new Wipeout game any day now. Seems like you could kill enemies in Wipeout 64. Maybe you can kill enemies in this game and I just wasn't hitting enemies enough? Because you would fly past them too quickly. And I looked up long plays of many of the Wipeout games. I did see ones where vehicles were getting destroyed. But for the most part, you fly past the enemies way too quickly for it to matter. So there we go. Frankly, I don't get this series. And it is too difficult for me to catch up. I'm too far behind. More than 20 years out of date on Wipeout. But maybe someday I'll figure it out and show it off again. And hell, maybe Destruction Derby will come back as well. That was a fun game. But that's it for today's bonus content. Hope you've enjoyed. I'm getting out of here before the demo takes over. Thank you for joining me as always, and have yourselves a good one.